Okay, hello everybody. Happy Friday night. I figured let's try this again, shall we? I mean, last time I tried this was a couple nights ago, and the connection was absolutely terrible. So happy Friday, everybody! Cheers. We got a little wine for me tonight, and hopefully the connection is much better tonight than it has been. I've been testing it. The connection does seem a little bit better tonight. We'll see if it lasts. Remember, I am streaming from mainland China, so if it does go out, hang in there with me. We'll try and get it back. I wanted to I'll start by talking about what I tried to talk about last Wednesday night when I tried to do this live stream. I want to talk about some emails that I got, so I answer some questions about ESL, what's going on here in China, and things are moving very, very quickly here, as everything does in China. But we'll see if the stream can last. Hang in there with me. Who watches the watchers, right? So let's start with wow. There's a huge thunderstorm rolling into Zhongshan tonight. I think it might be a residual of a hurricane, or excuse me, a typhoon that is hitting Vietnam. And southern Guangdong, where I'm at, is supposed to get an awful lot of rain and wind over the next couple of days. So it's going to be a gnarly weekend here. Okay, so let's talk about me. The students are back at the college. Maybe that's why the connection wasn't that great on Wednesday, because everyone was busy playing their video games. But tonight, it is Friday night, so a lot of the kids are off campus having fun. Those who are here seem to be partying it up. It's pretty loud in the dorms right now. Of course, everyone is inside because of the storm. Classes have started, the orientation classes, a couple of the other classes. I don't start teaching until after the holiday, so mid-October. So I got another couple weeks before I'm back in the classroom, and I got to say, I'm very excited. Everything is up in the air as far as my schedule goes because I don't have a schedule. I talked about this Wednesday. If you were lucky enough to catch me, I didn't save the live stream, but my colleague is stuck in England still, and it's unknown if he's going to be able to make it back before the term starts. If he does make it back, he still has to be in quarantine for a couple weeks, as per the rules. They're working on the paperwork right now. We're really trying to get him back in time. But it might be that I teach some of his classes until he is fully on board. That's if we can get him back in the first place. So I might have an insanely busy term here at the college, which is fine. I mean, I haven't been in the lecture hall for almost 9 months now. The freshman intake here is supposed to be one of the largest ones they've had in many years. So there's going to be a lot of students here. The boys' dorms seem to be completely filled. The girls' dorms across the street from me are empty. They still need to be filled. So this weekend there'll be another large group of students coming back on the campus, and security is very tight. The students are free to come and go as they please on and off campus, as am I. Now that the administration is back, they've laxed some of the rules for me. They've registered my license plate, and I still get my temperature taken coming in and out, but I am no longer, after all this time, I am finally free to come and go as I please without filling out any paperwork or without any restrictions. I just have to, when I come back onto campus, they just take my temperature on my forehead and let me go. So I'm very, very happy about that, and I think security is happy about that too. I think they were getting sick of keeping a logbook on me. So that's what's going on there. I just got back from Rojo. I was there overnight last night. I was, again, driving my buddy out to Rojo. This is our third trip to move all this junk. I volunteered to do this for him because when he was living here, man, he really helped me out a lot, and I'm just returning the favor. That's what buddies do, right? So last night, he took me back out to American Retro. If you saw my Pullman Hotel video, I talked about the American Retro bar. It was completely dead last night, but had myself a great hamburger and a couple beers, and then I was so exhausted from the day that I just crashed. I stayed at the Crown Plaza this time. I did not make a video about it. It's a beautiful hotel. Oh, look at that. Something just hit my window. Yeah, it's storming pretty good out there. I love thunderstorms. We don't get thunderstorms like this in LA. You know, it's so rare that it even rains, but this time of year it's raining quite a bit. Okay, so that's what's going on with me here. Let's talk about what's going on with the ESL industry as a whole. Because there are a complete lack of foreign teachers in China. Over the summer, there was a mad dash, a mad rush for all of the schools, public schools, private schools, training centers, international schools, kindergartens, to place foreign teachers. And everyone was getting placed over the summer. Now they all have their places. And those who weren't able to hire them are scrambling and going crazy trying to fill the classrooms. I'm constantly fielding messages and emails from people all over Guangdong, as far away from as Hunan, asking me, "Do I want to teach at a kindergarten? They'll pay me this much." And I was like, "No, I'm good to go. Thank you very much." And of course, the next question is, "Well, do you know anybody?" and the answer is no. Everyone is placed. However, every year about this time, a couple weeks after the term starts, some of the teachers, for whatever reason, do not fit the bill, I guess. Or either they don't like the school they're teaching or the school doesn't like them. And so I'd say about 10%, maybe even 20% of the teachers leave the job that they've been hired for and try to find something else. So there's a lot of pieces still being moved around, but that's only going to last for another couple weeks. And I believe after the National Day holiday, which is the first week of October, it will all be settled down and settled in for the rest of the term until Spring Festival. So if you are in country and you don't have a job, there's still a chance for you to get a job. If you're trying to come into China, there's a very good chance that you can get a job while you're here. The demand is really, really high. It's everywhere. So good news on that end, I guess, for me. But I'm quite comfortable and happy where I'm at. Okay. God, that storm is going crazy out there. That being said, things are not back to normal here. I mean, it's still, everyone's looking for COVID. Everyone's trying to find. If it's there, they lock it down. You heard about a couple of people that came across the border in Myanmar, and they've locked down a couple of cities in Yunnan province. I think it's Yunnan province. It's a border city next to Myanmar. I believe it's Yunnan. And so everyone's still on the up and up. Everywhere I go, I still have to wear a mask. If, walk into a supermarket, they request that I wear a mask. My temperature is taken 6-7 times a day. God help me if I ever just catch a regular cold or the flu, because then I would be denied entry everywhere until I get a negative COVID test. But again, I have like 7 or 8 health codes on my phone, and everywhere I go, they want me to register a new health code, it seems. Okay. But it is Friday night. I know in the States it's early. I normally do not do a live stream this early, but I needed to get it in because I'm exhausted from my trip. I just got back from Huizhou. I was going to climb Lofushan, which is Guangdong's largest mountain. I was going to do that today, but the weather didn't cooperate, and so I just came back and been cleaning my apartment. It's a bloody mess. Okay. All right, 1 second, guys. Let's see what's out there. See, Andrew Buck, how are you finding China now? I love China still. China's still an amazing place. I'm totally stoked to be here. I feel privileged to be here. My hosts have been wonderfully kind to me, as they always have been. I was talking with my buddy Charles on our drive out to Huizhou, that I've been here so long now that a lot of the things that I were amazed by, I kind of take for granted a little bit. I mean, this feels like home to me. I'm on the highway, I'm driving, and I'm thinking, oh, this is home. And I forget that everyone, as they drive by, stares at me and says, oh, look at the Lawai. I've gotten so used to it that it's just part of normal life here. Everything is part of normal life here. It's become my home, and I'm quite happy with it. I will also admit that I'm feeling rather homesick. I think that's natural. I did not get to go home this year, and it's been over a year since I've been home. It's been over a year since I've seen my family. I talk with my parents quite often, but I really need to get in contact with my brothers and sisters because it's been way too long since I've talked with them. But and it looks like it'll be a very long time before I can actually cross the border and go home again. The way things are in America and the way things are in China, if I cross that border, they're not going to let me back, and it's just not going to happen for a very long time. So I'm eyeing perhaps even next summer is the soonest that I'll get to go home and see the family. I just watched a movie. I watched The Tax Collector. If you don't know that one, that was a good one, man. It was Shia LaBeouf and what's his name? The Mexican dude that was in it. It was really good. Soto. Can't remember his first name though. He was really good in it. It's a dark uh, gangster movie about the L.A. drug trade and gangs in L.A. and stuff like that. But when you get all past that and you watch the movie and you see some of the old areas of LA that I used to hang out in, it's just like, okay, I do miss LA quite a bit. I miss home. And everything that's going on in America, I still I have my friends here that I get to talk to about it, but it does feel like it's a world away in many ways. And yeah, I miss it. I miss being part of the conversation. I miss being part of the debate. I miss being at the dinner table or over beers and talking about the issues of the day. I love that part of life of America, and I feel like I'm missing out on it a little bit. Even the Dodgers, baseball. If you're not a baseball fan, you can ignore this, but I'm a huge LA Dodger fan, and I'm watching the games, I'm watching the highlights, I'm following the season, but it's different this year because there's no fans at the stadiums. The Dodgers clinched a playoff berth again. They've got an incredibly good team, and I feel like I'm missing out on the fun quite a bit. So everyone, I get comments on my YouTube channel often about how lucky I am to be living in China, whereas the rest of the world seems to be still struggling. And I get that, and Jayo to the world when it comes out there. But don't forget that myself and my brothers and sisters here in China, we went through a lot at the beginning of the year, and things are still not back to normal here. We're still fighting it like the rest of the world. The difference is that there are systems and protocols in place that clamp down on any issues if they arise, and they clamp down really quick. There's an awful lot of prevention, and the culture here, the societal culture of mask wearing and vigilance when it comes to public health, it was primed for it, but I've noticed a massive change in the culture here over the last few months. Everyone is very aware of proximity to strangers. Hygiene has become a very, very big deal, especially in hospitality and restaurants. Restrooms. Before COVID, the restrooms never had toilet paper. They never had paper towels. They didn't even have soap. Most of them. If you go to a high-end place, they would have it. But now every restroom seems to be stocked, and people are very aware of what's going on. So I'm even in the elevators, they have the plastic film on the things, and people don't use their fingers to push the numbers anymore. They use their phone to kind of do this. I do it too, or they're using their elbows. They're using the back of their hands. People are not shaking hands anymore. They're doing fist bumps now. So there is a massive shift in behavior. It's just some things I've noticed. Okay. Let's see who's out there. We got hello from India. Wow. You gotta love the internet, man. You can. What part of India are you from? My colleague, the one that's stuck in England, he used to live in India, and I'm rather ignorant when it comes to India and Indian culture. I love the food, but even as much as I love the food, I'm still really ignorant as when it comes to the food. And I've learned a lot about India from my colleague here because he lived there for 10 years. And it just makes me want to go. It makes me want to check it out. I have Indian friends from LA, but I did never got a feel for the country or anything. So it's a place that I'd love to go, and I wish you all the best out there. Okay. Today, our school asked for all the Western books we are using as curriculum, publisher, and ISBN. I was reminded what you said the other night about Western holidays in your lessons. You're right, Snarky. That is something that happened to my buddy here at the middle school. He's got his lesson plans ready to go, and then right before he started teaching, they said all Western holidays and festivals need to be taken out of your lesson plans, and he teaches literature too, so he's unable to use any books that are not published in China. So there's an awful lot of books in their school library that they literally had to take out and throw away. And I said, can we salvage these? Can we find new homes for these books? And he said it wasn't worth it, so these books were literally thrown in the garbage. It's very sad to say. So he's had to rewrite a lot of his lesson plans. In my lesson plan, I talk in every lesson plan, depending on the date that it's given. I talk about the festivals and the holidays that are happening in the Western world, just to keep it current. Right, it's part of the lesson plans. I have not been told that those need to be removed from my lesson plans yet. I have inquired about it, but the administration here has not told me yes or no. They said they'll ask about it, but so far it's not a thing, and I am planning on using my existing lesson plans that I've been working on for the last 9 months, and they will include that. I don't teach literature. Remember, I'm just a lecturer, but so I don't need to use those books. However, I have been told that the videos that I use have to be resubmitted. Beforehand, before I teach anything, all of my lesson plans have to be submitted and approved. And last year they were submitted and approved, and they told me that the video work that I did was already approved the year before, so I didn't have to do that. They're asking me to send in my PPTs, my PowerPoints, and my videos for approval again. Again, I've got 3 weeks, so I'm not that concerned about it. It is a college, so it is a different system than the international program at a public school. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated on that. It's very, very odd, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so Snarky, what grade do you teach? You teach middle school or primary school? Because my buddy he teaches it's high school level, Zhong. I can't see many foreign teachers coming back soon, to be honest. Getting a PU letter does take time, and flights are far and few. That's very true, Ryan. There are flights. They just announced on the news, like, the first charter flight from America with 80 people came to China, just like last week. So, the flights, getting on a flight and coming to China is very difficult because you still have social distancing procedures on the plane itself. Trying to get a PU letter, it's easier if you go through one of the larger cities like Beijing or Guangdong, but that's only if you're working in those cities. If you're in a second or third tier city, it's much, much harder to get it. And that's what we're running into for my colleague, trying to get that PU letter. In addition to that, his residence permit expired at the beginning of the summer because residence permits usually follow the contract terms, and the contract ended at the beginning of the summer, so his residence permit ended, and he was already out of country at Spring Festival. So he doesn't technically qualify for a PU letter because his visa, quote unquote visa, it's a residence permit, has expired. And they've told him that he needs to reapply with a all new Z visa. The problem is all his paperwork's here in his apartment downstairs. So they're trying to work out some other way to get him here. Once he's here and all his paperwork is here, then the process would become much, much easier with the PSB. When you go down to the PSB building, it's empty. It's completely empty. There's nobody there. When I got my residence permit redone, it was in July, Normally, that process takes weeks, as much as a month. And when you go down there for your interview and you drop off your paperwork and then you pick it up, that could take hours because you have to wait in line and get a number. It took me 10 minutes. It took 3 days for them to process the paperwork. I was back there for my interview. In 10 minutes, I was in and out. It was empty. There are very, very few people here. I did see on the news, though, that Australians are going to be allowed to come back following proper procedures. Negative COVID tests have to be registered with the embassies, and you have to do the 2-week quarantine on your own dime when you come back into country. I saw that today. A friend of mine sent it to me today. So, again, I can't confirm that. It was sent to me on WeChat from a buddy, but it sounds pretty legit, and I trust that guy. So we'll see what happens. I think that China is realizing, the government is realizing that, okay, kids are going back to school. Business is really picking up very, very quickly here. A lot of the talent, the foreign talent that has been out of country and not being allowed to come back, we need to get them back. And so that's what they're trying to do. And they're trying to put policies in place, but they're not going to do it all at once. It's going to roll out day by day. The rules are going to change based on the situations abroad. And they're going to be extremely, what's the word? I don't want to say proactive. What's the other word? Pragmatic, I guess, when it comes to these rules. Okay, who else is out there? Let's see. Odisha State. That's where you're from. East Coast of India. East Coast of India. Okay. Again, I don't know India at all, guys. India's like, there were two. When I first came to China, I was originally going to go to Korea because it's a small little country. When I was in the service, I had actually orders to go to Korea when I got out. I was going to go to Kunsan Air Base, and they were going to give me an extra stripe, and they said, go to Kunsan for a year, and when you're done with that, you would have your choice of base anywhere in the world. That was the offer they gave me when I got out of the service. I chose to get out because I had a really good opportunity back home. But since then, I always wondered, I had that in my head for like 10 years, like, what if? What if I had actually gone to Korea? So my original plan was to go to Korea. And China was there. I knew about the opportunities in China, but it was very big and admittedly a little intimidating because I was such a huge unknown. There wasn't very much information about it. And I have to give a shout out to Serpent ZA and Winston, and to a smaller extent, even Matt from Laowai. His videos, regardless of his videos today and what you believe about him, his videos back in the day, these 5-6 years ago, really demystified the idea of living in the country, everything about it. And I got to give him credit for making the decision a little bit more comfortable to switch it to China. The other country that seemed like it was way too intimidating for me was India, because I know so little about it. Chinese language itself is intimidating if you have no experience with it. I mean, even now after years, I still struggle with it quite a bit. But India still had that feel as well, and it still does. I won't lie. I'd like to go and experience. I think if I got my boots on the ground there for a day or two, I'd start to feel very comfortable in India. It's something in the distant future, because it is a far ways to travel to, and I'm not done exploring Asia. While I'm here in China, it's kind of a good jumping off point to explore the rest of Asia, and that's kind of what I'm staying around. One of the reasons. There's many reasons. Okay. You are back. Nice to see you. Yes, I am back. Hopefully the live stream is solid. It seems as though the connection is pretty solid tonight. I think it's because all the kids are out partying on a Friday night and they're not home playing video games. Thankfully, history doesn't have a president into their country burning foreign books, right? Look, my position on this is it's a shame, but I don't make the rules. This is not my country. I'm a guest here. They make their own rules, and if that's the rules they want to do, it's their prerogative. It's what they. There's not much I can say other than that. It's not my place to criticize. It's not my place to condemn. It's not my place to even applaud. it is just reporting what's going on. Okay. Yes, the the rules in. Sorry, hold on again. It's very small print on my screen, guys. Let's see. Um, yes, the rules are changing weekly for foreigners to return to China, but in a good direction. I know a handful who went through the whole process. Some from the USA. Really? Okay. Thanks, Mike. Mike, when I come, I was in Guangzhou last week for. I was at the Expo Center right down the street from your house, and I had other things going on, so I didn't give you a call. And wink, wink, hint, hint. But next time I'm up there, man, we got to get together for a beer. We'll go get some tacos or enchiladas at Bandidos and catch up. Mike from Expat Survival, great channel if you're interested in life in China, the how-to elements of China. His channel is one of the best, And I got a chance to hang out with Michael at the pool party in Dongguan and get to know the dude. And he's not going to lead you astray. Let me tell you, dude knows his stuff. Okay, let's see. Fernando's on. Good to see you, Fernando. I hope all is well, brother. He's another. Check out his series on the road trip he did, China Teacher Brad. Fernando, the one that tripped me out. I was sitting in my office, and my colleagues were all around me, and I was watching your video about you drive. It was the beginning part, really, just driving through the desert, and you're like, my car is gonna die. It says I need to charge it now. You're in the middle of nowhere, and it says you can only go about another 50 kilometers before it completely dies. I'm like, and he's like, I'm not worried at all. I'm like, why wouldn't you be worried? That's crazy. And then he just points and says, that's why, because there's a van of guys waiting off the side of the road, waiting to charge his car, the Neo dudes. And I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. I don't know if you have to pay extra for that, Fernando, but that is really cool. I know you have to probably schedule it ahead of time, but it was amazing that it was like, boom, right there, right when you needed it, in the middle of frickin' nowhere. These dudes were waving you down saying, we got this van full of juice. Let's juice you up so you can continue on your way. What an amazing experience that must have been, man. And I've been really enjoying that series. It's great. Okay. Yeah, check out Michael's YouTube channel, Expat Survival. It's really good. It's very well researched. I've learned a lot from it myself. For the PU, it can still be obtained with a current work permit and expired RP. It's mostly dependent on the know-how of the local PSB and the school and company. That's a good point. I don't doubt that's the case. Again, I think it's much easier to do this when you're in the larger cities, the Beijing, Guangzhou, the first tier, because there are so many foreigners and it's just processing, right? But yeah, when you're in a smaller town or work for a smaller school, it's a learning curve. There's a definite learning curve. Here, the person who processes my paperwork is brand new because the old person